Okay, so I'll be using this as an example on how spot support and resistance right from the daily candle down to the M15. Alright, so first off, I'll start picking up my rectangle tool, then I'll take it from the up to the down. Right, that's my first resistance point. Here should be my first daily time frame. This on the daily time frame. I'll spot another just here, just here. Alright, let's increase this a little bit. Let me adjust it. Right. Right. Okay. That's another. Alright. Let's take it. Let's take it down. Alright, so why spot on my daily time frame first, then I'll zoom in just right here and switch to my H4. On my H4 now, let's see, market's also respecting the daily, because you see the H4 is almost as close as with the daily candle, so definitely H4 should also be respecting it. Alright, so let me switch down to my H1. Let's see if we can spot additional. So on my H1 now, I don't really need to be looking at all these, right? So my H1, what I need is I'm trying to place a trade at this point here, this whole surface here, this whole point. This is my point of view here, right? So I'll take my rectangle and still spot additional support and resistance levels. Right, this is a support I'm spotting right here. It actually has a little bit of a resistance at this point. Resistance, don't support before blasting off. Right. Let's see. This market spiked a little bit here. This might be caused due to fundamentals. At this point, that's why we saw this spike. Yeah, but I'll still draw my resistance on H1 here. This is my resistance on H1. I'm seeing a little bit of under resistance here, but you could see the market is literally destroying it though. At this point, let me just hold it down here because the market destroyed it later on and formed a little bit of a support here. Right. Then I'll move down to my M15. So my M15 now, this is where I take an entry. Yeah, so I'm seeing a little bit of a trend here. So I'll take my trend line to drag it down here. Right. Let's see what else I can find here. Let me take a little bit of support here. Still got another here. Yes. Okay, so what I'm expecting the market to do is to bounce off the support to this trend line around this point. Then we see it dropping down below, down here. This is what I expect for the market to do. This is what I expect the market to do. This point, and also just put this down here just to form a trend. Right, so I expect it to drop down to this. Remember this we drew on our H1, to this support on our H1. Right, we drew this on H1. Whereas our entry on M15 says that we need the market to go to that point first before dropping. So I'll take my short position too. Then I'll be placing my entry just at this trend line. My TP down here should be around 40 pips for my TP. Then my SL will just be above this, just this here. I'll not be risking much, just 5 pips around this point for 5 pips. 5 pip SL for 40 pips TP. Most times the safer SL, this is just if you want to scalp, but if you are trying to swing this, your SL should be above this resistance point here. This resistance we're having here, it should be above this resistance point. So technically, if you are risking about 20 pips to get 40 pips, it's still very much okay. So that'll be off now.